Want to skip the queues in Disneyland without paying for multi-pass or single pass? Today I'm going to let you know all about the single rider queue, who can use it, which rides offer it, and the pros and cons. So if you like maximising your time at Disney, be sure to stay tuned to find out all the tips. So what exactly is single rider? This is a designated queue for people who don't mind riding alone. It allows cast members to fill in empty seats on rides, which helps speed the process up much quicker for everyone involved. If you join the single rider queue, you can go from waiting hours to go on a ride to just mere minutes. But there are a few things you need to know before joining the single rider queue. Single rider is open to anyone that is willing to be separated from their group or is perfect for single riders. You don't need a special pass or ticket to use the single rider queue. In fact, some queues will actually have a designated entrance that says single rider, so you know you can enter there. And if not, you can approach a cast member and let them know you want to do this single rider line and they will point you in the right direction. However, there are some rules when using the single rider line. You do need to be aged 7 or over to use this service, and if you are going to be multiple people entering the queue, you have to understand that you are going to be split up, so you will not ride together. The single rider queue is perfect for solo travellers or for someone who is travelling with a group of people, but perhaps you're the only person in the group that wants to ride this particular ride, or people who don't mind being split up from their group. I do a lot of solo trips to the Disney parks, and I have used the single rider service in Disneyland, and it was fantastic. It meant I got to go on the queues much faster. I wasn't standing alone in queues trying to pass the time as I was on a solo trip. I just got to go on, have a great time, and it also helps the regular queue because you're getting more people onto those rides. You're filling all the seats up, so it's a win-win for everyone. Now let's talk about the most important part. Where can you use single rider in Disneyland? In Disneyland Park, there are 3 rides that officially offer a single rider queue and 1 ride that is testing this service out. The 3 rides that officially offer single rider are Space Mountain, Matterhorn, and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I loved using this single rider queue for Matterhorn during my trip. I absolutely love this ride. I think it's absolutely hysterical. And what is interesting is there are 2 different tracks. Now, typically on the single rider queue, you will just be assigned a track. However, occasionally the cast member may ask you if you have a preference, and this can be really, really good if there's one side you like more, or perhaps you've done one and you'd like to try the other. But just be aware, you might not have a choice over which track you ride. And if you want to go on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, this is a super interactive simulator ride where everyone has a designated role that helps towards the ride and the storyline. However, as a single rider, you won't be able to choose which role that you have. You'll just be assigned one. The ride that is currently testing out single rider is Rise of the Resistance. Now, this is something that we have seen have a single rider queue on and off for a little while now, so there is every chance during your trip that perhaps it isn't operating. But this is a ride that gets super long queues, so if it is in operation and you want to try single rider, this is a great ride to do it. Now, it is worth noting sometimes you may miss out on parts of the pre-show, and I would say if you've never been on Rise of the Resistance before, definitely do the full experience first. You don't want to miss out the pre-show. It's a big part of the ride experience. However, if you have been on it but you're wanting to save some time, the single rider queue can be fantastic. But because they are trying out this new single rider queue for Rise of the Resistance, they are also trying out different ways to have the single rider queue. So sometimes you will get the pre-show, sometimes you won't. It all depends on when you are there and what they are offering. But typically the cast member does let you know in advance you will miss some of the pre-show or not, so that you will be able to decide whether it's right for you. Over in Disney California Adventure, there are 6 rides that offer a single rider queue. These are Radiator Springs Racers, Incredicoaster, Grizzly River Rapids, Goofy Sky School, Web Slingers, and Soarin'. There's also another ride that doesn't officially offer a single rider queue, but sometimes it does offer something similar. If you want to ride Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue, they have something called a buddy pass. This isn't available all the time. However, you can approach a cast member to ask about it, and if it is available, they will direct you to a much shorter queue, which works the same as a single rider. If there is a space left on the ride, they will put you on there so there's more people in the cars. Disneyland's single rider service is extraordinary because compared to other Disney parks, there are so many rides on offer. The fact that you have 9 official single rider queues and then 2 rides that also offer something similar is incredible. Let's break down the pros and cons of single rider so you can know whether it's right for you. One of the biggest pros is that you can dramatically cut down your wait time. A lot of these rides are very popular and can often have over an hour's wait to go on them. However, the single rider queue will cut this time down massively. Another huge plus is that the single rider service is absolutely free. You do not have to pay to use it. And another pro relating to this is it can actually help you save money. A lot of these rides are included in multi-pass. However, if you don't fancy purchasing it, using single rider can be a great way to cut down the queue time and save money. And of course, rides such as Radiator Springs Racers do offer single pass, and this is a way to skip the queue, but you pay per ride. This can work out very expensive because you're paying per person to ride just one ride. However, using the single rider queue can help you skip over this cost. A big pro for someone like me is the single rider queue is fantastic for solo travellers. I often think the most difficult part about solo trips is waiting in queues. The rest of the time you're so engrossed in everything that's going on, you don't really think about the fact that you're on your own. However, when you're in queues and you're needing to pass the time, this is when you can sometimes notice that you're on your own because you have no one to speak to. So the single rider queue can cut down your wait time massively, and like I say, it's a win-win. You're getting to go on rides much quicker as a solo traveller, and the ride is getting fully packed full of guests, and that it can run much smoothly because of it. It's also a pro for people who really want to go on a ride, but perhaps they're the only person in the group that wants to go on it. If you are a thrill seeker, but perhaps the people in your group aren't, you don't have to miss out. You can join the single rider queue and you won't be away from your group as long. But there are some cons to consider. If you are a group and you're going to enter the single rider queue, you will be split up. So just be aware of this. You aren't going to be sat together, and in fact you're most likely not going to be in the same ride vehicle, so you will need to wait for each other at the end of the ride so that you can all reconvene once you've ridden. And do remember that riders in the single rider queue must be aged 7 or over, so if you are a group that have children, make sure that they also hit that age requirement. One of the biggest cons is that sometimes the single rider queue can have a long wait, and this of course depends on the amount of people who go into the single rider queue. So it is good to be mindful that if you are a big group going into the single rider queue, you are going to increase that wait time significantly, because of course not every single ride vehicle always has a seat available, so they do have to wait until one is free, and because of this the single rider queue sometimes can get backed up. Another con is that single rider is not offered on every single ride. It would be amazing if they were able to do this and just fit people in wherever there is an available seat. However, that is not currently the case, but the good news is Disneyland does tend to have more than other Disney parks, so it's still a fantastic service to take advantage of. And another con to be aware of is that you won't be able to select which seat you would like to go in. If for example you really want to be in the front row on Incredicoaster, you won't be able to request this. The single rider queue is simply there to help fill in the gaps on the ride, so you will be allotted whichever seat is available. So that's everything you need to know about single rider at Disneyland. It really is a fantastic service and it's really helped me out during my solo trip. If you would like to see what I got up to and my time in Disneyland, then I will link to that vlog series. But this is a really good service if you're a solo traveller, you're the one person in your party that wants to ride a ride, or you're a group that don't mind splitting up. This is a really great way to cut down your wait time and even save money. So if you are visiting Disneyland, are you going to be using the single rider service? Let me know in the comments down below. If you did like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. I make videos packed full of tips and advice of how to visit the Disney parks like a pro, helping you to maximise the magic by mastering the planning. So if you do like that type of content, don't miss out. And if you're going to be visiting Disneyland and would like some extra help and advice, then do check out my Disney planning service. Here I offer Zoom calls, email consultations, and even a concierge service where I'll plan your entire trip for you. So if you have burning questions and you'd like to know more how to get the most out of your Disneyland trip, then do check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. Bye bye.